Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of The Curve. Yay! We are back with more hot topics, more conversation, and more entertainment news. I am here with my lovely co-hosts,
I am Tony G. Campbell.
And I'm Melissa.
and you can follow them at.
Oh, Tony G. Campbell on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And you can follow me on Instagram at MissyW1913.
And of course, you can follow me at Shannon Deneen on all social media platforms. And we are back, y'all. We have some
Girl, come on,
juicy
please.
stuff to talk about
Please.
tonight. So I'm going to start it off. Did y'all hear about your girl Cardi?
I heard it and I saw it.
And I saw it. So my friend in my head, Cardi B, just in case you didn't see it, my girl in my head, Cardi B, drug Tommy Lauren for filth, and I lived. So in case you did not hear, Cardi B was on the Twitter talking about Donald Trump and giving some advice and giving some
She was expressing her
She
opinion
was
like everyone else
Exactly.
has.
she was
Yes,
expressing
yes,
her
yes.
opinion about what her president is doing about this wall. And Tommy Lauren chimes in, putting her nose where she didn't have any business putting it,
For real.
really no business putting it, and said to her that she was a moron.
She called her an idiot.
She called her an idiot.
She insulted her intelligence
sure
as
did.
it relates to her language. Basically called her slow.
Yeah, she basically called her slow.
But that is the kettle calling the pot black.
Well, so my girl Cardi B responded, and I quote, "I will dog walk you. I will dog walk you. Leave me alone. You don't want it with Cardi B." And for every girl in the hood, I lived. Like I ran around the room. I was so excited about this comment because I feel like women like Tommy Lauren feel like they're better.
It's okay. So my perspective is that her privilege came out.
Come on now.
Her privilege came out because there are plenty of people that have made the same comments, have been very opinionated and
Yeah.
taken stances. She didn't say that to Joy Behar on
She
The
sure
View.
did not.
No.
And she's been
She
on there a couple
certainly
of
did
times,
not.
and she's never talked to her that way. So she should have said she was going to dog walk her.
Yes, she
she
should've.
should have. She met her right where she was.
Yeah.
And my thing is that needs to be addressed. Your privilege, to me, it was as if her nose was up in the air.
It absolutely was.
And it was like, okay, here she is again, the slow girl. No, let me show you how slow I am.
Yeah.
I can show you, but I can tell you.
And what really frustrates me about Tommy Lauren and people like Tommy Lauren is that it's almost like people who aren't educated or people who don't have formalized education don't get opinions. And since when is that the case? Like, this is America. This girl can be on Instagram, Twitter, criticizing the president all day long because as an American citizen who pays her taxes, as far as we know, she has the
Absolutely.
absolute right to make comments about the president of the United States, point blank, period.
Who doesn't make comments about the president of the United States? But I felt like she was an easy target for her.
Absolutely.
And due to the fact that they were the same age, they're
Yeah.
the same age.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, here I am and here you are. Wait a minute. She has the right to express herself. And first of all, she wasn't talking to her.
She was
It's
not
not like she
talking
was
to
even
you.
talking directly to her. She singled her out
Yeah.
because there have been plenty of people that have gone on rants about the president of the United
Absolutely.
Well, you know what
Absolutely.
Tommy does? What she does is she trolls the internet.
She does.
Just so she can make a comment to use these people so people can talk about her. Because
She
no
does.
one is talking about Tommy.
States. No.
Because guess what? She's irrelevant.
I tell you who she didn't troll. She didn't troll Simone Sanders. She
She certainly did
She
not.
didn't troll her. She didn't troll
She
Angela
picks
Rye.
people.
Yeah,
No,
she knew
won't
who to do.
ever troll
She-
Angela
thank
Rye.
you.
don't want it because of Angela
She
Tommy.
knew
You don't
who
want
to
it.
do it with. But see, here's the thing. Street code does not care about formalized education.
It certainly does
Street
not.
code,
at all.
speaking from somebody from Flint, Michigan, street code has nothing to do when I feel like you've gone too far. Because it was one thing, when they were going back and forth.
Yeah.
It was okay in the beginning. She, retweeted whatever she said, but then she continued to insult her
Yeah.
intelligence.
Yeah.
It wasn't even about the president anymore.
Right.
So she should have told her she was on dog walk.
And you know who co-signed that? What's the senator's name from the Bronx? Alexandria. She was Cortez. She was recently elected. What is her name?
Oh, the new
Yes,
senator.
yes. You know she's Hispanic. She's the first Hispanic.
Yes.
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 She co-signed that, and she
Yes,
was like,
I wish I could have saw that.
yeah, she was like, "What you want to do? Who women from the BK get to have the clap back?"
Oh,
That's
yes,
it.
yes, I saw that. I saw it. I did see that.
Women
I did see
from
it.
the BK
Have
are
that
go-
clap
are
back, and she
always
wasn't
gonna have-
ready for it.
No,
And see, this is what
no.
I didn't like. I didn't like how they tried to spin it and say, "Oh, she was being violent.
Yeah.
Why do we have to go to violence?" Well, you
No,
know what?
you
That's
coulda
what your
left her
mouth
alone.
will get you.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
coulda
your
left her
like my
alone.
grandmother used to say. Don't write a check that your behind can't cash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you got to learn when to close your mouth. You can't insult people
And
like
stop
that.
coming for people because, like you said, Cardi wasn't talking to Tommy.
Not at all.
Tommy always wants to attack people, and first of all, I don't know what kind of education Tommy
She wants to
has.
attack people and then be the victim.
Yes.
That's my biggest problem.
Okay, so
That's my
here's
issue.
and that is
She wants to attack people and
Facebook
then
narcissist.
It's Facebook narcissist. She wants to attack people and then say, "Oh my God, I feel threatened. I feel violated." She threatened violence against
No,
me. But
she
you,
came at Cardi first.
right? You were popping off at the mouth earlier behind
and
your
then she
little
wasn't even
keyboard.
violent with her.
Right.
She just said,
I will
"I
dog
will
walk-
dog walk you."
Leave
She
me
didn't
alone.
say, "I'll dog walk you today or tomorrow." She just said, "I'll dog walk you." So fair warning, I'm letting you know if you continue this behavior,
It could get real
that's
in these
right.
streets. You,
You
don't,
don't
want,
want
it.
it.
Because Cardi has already shown us
listen,
that she
I
doesn't care about
have
these dresses, no
been
clothes.
there. I have been there in some high places with some people that feel as though they're entitled to talk to you a
Any
certain
old kind
kind
of
of way.
way, yeah.
And I've had to let them know. Granted, I do have all of this formalized education, but I will always be from Flint, Michigan. You try me if you want to.
You don't want it
You
with
try
me.
it if you want to. And you
Yes.
have to get them together because it's something in them that says
That wants to belittle you
Yeah.
as a person.
yeah, and you're going to continue to do it. It's one thing
Uh-huh.
to be a little, as my grandmother would say, sassy
Mm-hmm.
with people. And that's one thing. You can be a little curt. I let you slip one time, but she continued to come
You're just
back.
not gonna keep coming at me.
No, that's not. That's what you're not gonna do.
Yeah, yeah. And see, Tommy Lauren came from Beyonce, and Beyonce didn't say anything, and I think that's the real problem. The real problem is that nobody before Cardi B, not in the black community, I would say, has checked you well
But
enough.
why should she come for her?
Well,
you know what? But here's the thing,
because-
Beyonce. But we don't know that. See, Beyonce is Beyonce, so she could have come for her in a different way. It could have been behind the scenes. Beyonce didn't have to come for her because I'm sure she ran into Solange. I'm sure she ran into Solange. She knew what time it was going to be. Listen, because
She got
that's how
it.
my sister is.
Yeah, I
My
get it.
sister's very much that. So you
That's
can
true.
say what you want to say to me,
But
let me
don't-
tell her.
Don't let me catch you on this
Baby,
elevator.
Yeah.
baby.
I'm the sister. I will tell you that.
Let me,
I'm the sister. But I do like what Cardi had said to her on her Instagram. This is for you again, Tommy. You're so blinded with racism that you don't even realize the decisions the president you root for is destroying the country that you claim to love so much. You are a perfect example on no matter how much education or smart you think you are still a sheep.
And she is.
and she's telling her the truth. It is no different than that's a learned behavior. It's no different than what those kids did to that Native American elder.
And
But that's that same.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a learned behavior.
It
That's
really
the same
is.
attitude. Because regardless of if they agreed with him or not, I was raised to respect my elders.
Period.
It doesn't matter what shade, color, creed they are.
And he's a veteran.
At-
He fought for this country where your little butt probably won't even get up for this country. That's the only thing you can be proud of is to stand in front of him and say, build a wall? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It blows my mind because the level of privilege in this country it feels like it continues to rise, and that people who have done nothing, who have not really done anything in particular, are continuing to show their privilege, and it's bold and brazen and ridiculous to me. You don't have any, as an American citizen, we all come in with the same rights. We all come in with the same privileges. And you don't get to talk about people. You don't get to belittle people just because your skin is
But
is
that's
lighter.
not what they're taught.
No, you're right. That's not what they're
so
taught. You're
that
absolutely
is
right.
what we are taught.
Yeah.
But that's not what they are taught.
Not at all.
And when I say they, I mean for people that some people, let me make this clear.
Some.
Yeah.
Some
Not all.
people, because
Absolutely.
we as African Americans, and I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I'll make it more personal. In my house, I was always taught that you're going to have to work harder than them. You're
Absolutely.
going to have to do you got to give 110%.
Twice as far
And
to
how
get
can
half
you, that's right.
Twice as much to get half as far. Yep.
So if that's not taught to them, then that's why they have a sense of entitlement, because I show up and my presence should be enough. That's what they're taught. So that's why they feel like I can talk to you any old kind of way. I can say whatever I want to say. And that's where my stance comes from, when I feel like Beyonce shouldn't have responded to her, because she is who she is, and Beyonce. And
It's still Beyonce.
It's still gonna be Beyonce. So whether I open my mouth to you in public or not, I'm still going to be here. She is yet a peasant in her world.
Well, but I feel the same about Cardi B. The thing I really love about Cardi B, though, she talked about in that same article, she talks about how obsessed she is with the system, right? And that
Yes.
she's learning. And that Cardi B, in most instances, comes into a situation with the attitude of, I know I shouldn't be here, but here I am.
Right.
Like, I shouldn't be here, and I shouldn't be in these beautiful dresses, and I shouldn't be where I am. Like, I was a stripper before
Right.
this. But here I am, and y'all ain't gonna do nothing with me.
But she came in saying on that video, she said, y'all help me find a solution.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do?
Yeah.
What can we do to make this situation, like, I know that I have this, platform.
Yeah.
So help me to help you.
Yep.
I know I can't do a lot, but what can we do? Like, this is too much. And then where I got mad is where she started talking about the coursework that she had. Oh, she's taking AP history, and she took all of these different classes in high school. But my thing is, it doesn't matter what you took, you have the right to have a voice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
She is an American citizen.
The same way that some of our Caucasian brothers and sisters who live in rural areas in America, who really don't, who just look at Fox News, the same way those people still have a voice and still have a right to voice their opinion, is the same way a girl from the Bronx who used to be a stripper also has a right to have her opinion. And I feel like people are like, oh, the forgotten rural class. Well, Cardi B is part of the forgotten class as well. Like, she gets to have an opinion about what is going on. We all get to have an opinion about somebody
Absolutely.
who has shut down the government and has affected
Absolutely.
800,000 people and their
Absolutely.
jobs and their well-being. We all get to have an
Absolutely.
opinion about that, and don't nobody need to say nothing about it, because there are people out here who are struggling to pay their mortgages,
Absolutely.
who are already
To
one paycheck
eat.
who are already one paycheck away from being poor. So this has affected all of our entire country in a way that is demonstrative. She gets the right to have an opinion about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in my household, my mother always taught us they are no better than us. We are equal
Absolutely.
to them. So I always grew up knowing that, hey, boo, you know better than me. I am just as well and good as you are. I'm just as smart. I have just as much money and all that other stuff. So for her to sit there and come at her, really, I'm just saying that every time Tommy opens her mouth, something
Ridiculous.
But
ridiculous
look, she's
comes
like
out of it.
she's no different than the McCain girl.
From
she's-
The View?
From
Yeah.
The View.
Yeah.
It's as if she can have, I'm telling you, this entitlement. But the reason why we're seeing so much of it now is because of our president.
Yeah.
So he's leading the way for
That
people to
man
be
in the White House.
disrespectful. For people, yes, he's opened up the door. But my thing is, I feel as though whether he opened up the door or not, you cannot expect for people not to have a response.
Absolutely.
You cannot, that I don't care if it's Cardi B, Oprah, whoever it may be, whether they're a celebrity or not, they're still human.
Absolutely.
Like they still have feelings, they still have emotions. Some of them are directly impacted by all of this that's going on. So you cannot demean someone because they don't agree with you and then play the victim. Oh, she threatened me. You probably was gonna get more than that. I bet you. My response is, I bet you won't say it to her face.
Yeah, because
Hello?
Cardi's already shown. She showed that.
And I mean, she's a
not really-
citizen. She has a right.
Yeah,
No
she
matter
does.
what, she has a right.
So here's the thing. The only thing that I struggle with, like I was here for her response, and I definitely understood where that comes from. However, the idea of women being violent against women, like I feel like in some ways we're already divided enough. That is the only part of this conversation that I struggle with.
But was it Cardi being violent to her, or was Tommy not
Yeah,
first
she
violent
was
to
abusive to her
when
first.
First
She
of all,
was
being
verbally
a bully,
abusive. That's right.
and
Well, she was
calling
trying to
be
her
a bully.
names. She was
That's
trying to
right.
demean her. She was violent to her first.
Yes, and she
with
let it go
words.
the first couple of times. She
Exactly.
really didn't give her. She kept poking the bear. So when we talk, I'm there
poke
with
the bear,
you
you will get
as it relates
beat
to
down.
how we should treat each other as women. But you cannot continue to violate my space. And when I say violate my space, that's just not physically, but verbally, because it's still a form of abuse.
It is
Like
still a
you
form of
can't
abuse.
say, "Oh, I'm stupid. I'm an idiot." You know,
You're moronic and,
exactly,
you
and
know.
not expect a and then let me tell you why I'm thinking about this now. What really made me mad is when she said, "You can ask Offset. Do I watch the History Channel? Do I watch?" Forget Offset.
Right.
You
you
are
don't have to
enough.
get validated
But
by anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
don't need.
thing.
Yeah.
We as women feel like, when people come for us, we have to prove
Prove,
ourselves.
yeah.
You don't have to
Absolutely.
prove yourself, Cardi, at all. That woman came for her.
Intentionally.
What she
Intentionally.
should have did was
For her
say,
ratings.
you know what, Cardi, I disagree with you, and this is why. You don't come at her with name calling.
Yeah.
You don't come at her with trying to question her education or make her seem like she's less than you. You don't come at her like that. If she wanted to do it the right way, you come at her with a debate, not with being
Agreed.
a bully.
Well,
I have
and
the same issue though with Tommy Lauren coming for Cardi B that I have for people coming for Colin Kaepernick or people coming for
Or Serena Williams.
Serena Williams or anybody who they feel like, oh, you don't deserve to have a voice because you only do that. Like you're only a working American, like, but you're only a celebrity, so you don't get to have a voice because you're a person who is good at what you do, which is in essence what celebrity makes you.
Yeah.
It just means that you're really good at either acting or playing football or playing basketball or playing tennis or whatever.
Heck, I'm
Um,
good at being Tony.
but-
But I bet you what, I will have an opinion
Come
about
on now.
everything.
Come on
But
now.
I think if there's something that could have been changed about the situation, when I think about it, I think that maybe she could have approached the situation like Beyonce, because really Tommy Lauren is nothing but a peasant in her world,
She
so she
is.
really didn't have to respond
She
to
didn't
her.
have to respond.
But that's that girl from the Bronx.
But she
that-
had time.
right.
She had time.
She had time.
She had time.
So she responded. So
Well, from one person who has leveled up to another, Sierra was also in the news.
come on, let's
I know you got one.
let's
I
go.
know you got one.
Let's go.
Your
let's
girl
go.
Sierra was also in the news. Actually, Sierra and her lovely husband Russell Wilson
Yes.
were also in the news because their petty baby daddy, Future, was all on trying to promote his new album, The Wizard, by again putting Sierra's name in his mouth, and he was on what it was called, the brand.
Something. He was sitting with his friend talking because
Yeah.
he knew who he was talking to.
Yeah.
Right. He's being interviewed by his friend, and he got to talking too much.
Yeah.
To me, he's the one with mentionitis.
Yeah, he does
He's
have
the one with
mentionitis.
mentionitis.
He certainly
You
does.
Sierra so far on your brain. You got all these other kids by
You got all
these
these
other
other
women.
baby mamas.
You got all
You'll
these people you
never
can talk about.
them.
Never.
But all we hear is Sierra.
Yeah. And here's the thing: she hasn't been on anybody's social media. So let me finish.
Okay, go
Let
ahead.
me finish introducing the topic for the people. So here's what happened, y'all. Future was on his friend's radio show. He was being interviewed by his homeboy, and the link is on Apple Music. I can't remember what the name of the show is, but it's not important.
No, not at all.
At all. So he was on there and he was mentioning the personality asked him, well, what do you think about Russell Wilson raising your son? And what do you think about Russell Wilson and Sierra, and how do you feel about them? And he was like,
set him up for that.
He really did.
He set him
First
up.
of all, you as a
journalist,
well, which he is not a journalist. He is
his friend that has a show.
He is like less than a blogger.
Okay.
Like he is
Okay.
this show is trash. So well, let's just start there. But his friend asked him the question and set him up for this answer, basically, and said in the middle of the interview, man, I want you to feel away about this. Like, I really just want you to feel away. And so
he that
Future,
messy friend.
he the messy friend.
And it showed Future's maturity. Let's go there.
Let's do that. So he ends up saying, Russell Wilson is not a man because he can't keep Sierra quiet and keep her
And if she
from
was
saying,
with me,
if she was
she
with
wouldn't
me.
be saying that. She wouldn't even be able to bring his name up.
And all of this other Who Shot John that
on,
Future was
honey.
talking about. And then he again goes into playing the victim and being like, well, when she mentioned me, she talked about my baby's mamas, and some of them don't even want to be in the limelight, and this, that, and the third. And he just continued. Like, it's like every time he has an interview, he's got to talk about her and what she's doing. Meanwhile, she's trying to go through the court system
and live her life.
and live her life.
Yeah.
She is trying to be happy with her man. So that's what happened, y'all. The question on the table is Future right about Russell Wilson, or is he just salty that his ex is happy? I want y'all to answer in the comments. Is he right about Russell Wilson? Do y'all think Russell Wilson is the man? Do y'all think he's soft because he can't quote unquote check Sierra on her, well, what Future says is him talking about her in interviews, but the last interview that I was able to research and find that Sierra had talked about him was when she was on Whitney Williams about 2 years ago.
But they took each other to court,
Right.
so that they could have these gag orders or whatever, so they couldn't mention each other in different interviews.
Yeah.
But he's the only one that's over there being petty Petey. I mean, he's being, petty. Pendergrass. Come on.
Pendergrass,
His
like-
mama is probably Petty LaBelle. Like, he comes with so much pettiness,
He
and it's like,
does.
okay, move on.
Yeah.
You have gone on. This man, here's the thing, and I love it. Monica talked about this in an interview before. She said you wouldn't have to worry about what the other man is doing for your child if you did for your child.
Come on now.
You
Amen.
know,
Come
she
on
said, I
now.
don't have my kids.
Amen.
Their father isn't on child support.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because they need shoes. They're going to start school. They play sports. So there's no need for me to do that and for you to be worried about what somebody else is doing if you on your job.
Yep.
But
Amen.
let me go to where because who said the most that I agree with was Shannon Sharp.
What did Shannon say?
Shannon Sharp said he got enough kids, that
Come on
Future
now.
has enough children that he has no need to worry about what Sierra and Russell are over there doing. You have a plethora
Of children you need
of
to be worried
children by
about.
different women. And he said the real thing is, why isn't he with one woman? He just had a baby.
Yes, he did.
He just had a baby by the little girl that got a baby by Bow Wow. Joy somebody. She's a dancer.
Oh, wow.
She's a dancer.
She's a professional baby mama.
Yeah.
She's a professional baby's mama.
What is your issue that you can't stay with one woman?
That's it.
Because he's trying to control them and keep them quiet.
Which is really the problem, and I think that's what. And see, here's what I really want to talk about, because these stories are not important unless you can get something out of them. Sierra did what everybody needs to do, I feel like. Sierra assessed the situation. She said, you know what? I'm with this dude that ain't about nothing.
Let the church say amen.
Amen.
So what I'm going to do next time that I get into a relationship is do something different. I'm going to pick something better. I'm going to choose a man who is not going to mistreat me, not going to put his hands on me, going to treat me well, going to take me to church, going to do right by my kids. I'm gonna pick that dude instead. I'm going to pick a guy that's like normal, like calm and like not all whoop de woo out in who's not worried about being out in the world and being a celebrity and being famous, who's worried about like family, because that's what I want.
Yeah.
And Sierra said that's what I'm gonna pick, and she did that instead of going back to the same dudes that she had been picking over and over and over again. She picked a nice guy, and guess what? Now she's living her best life around here, getting treated well, and got her, the babies all on the Instagram, all with the
But
cute
here's
pictures.
my thing, because I'm into go. My thing is, if you gonna clap back, clap at the right one.
Yeah.
He clapped back to Shannon Sharp.
Nope,
And
not
let
at
me
all.
tell you what he said to him. He said, "How many more kids has he had since Sierra?"
That's really it.
He said, "FOH with that. Be glad she found a man that loves his son and treats him good."
Come on,
It
and
wasn't.
that's really
It wasn't a
it.
response to that.
Mm-mm.
There's not a response.
No, he
He
didn't.
said he thought she would allow him to do his thing, sit around and wait. However, she got married. She married an NFL player, and he caught feelings.
Leveled up.
Both of you should let it go. And to me, he addressed both of them.
Yeah, but I don't think she hasn't let it go. So here's the thing. Future keeps addressing her in interviews, on social media, this, that, and the third, about his son and this, that, and the third. Sierra has done none of that. She has gone through the court system, primarily because what she would like is full custody of her son so that
Yes.
she can leave him all the way
alone.
alone. She would like for him, and she's doing it the right way. I saw some comments under, I can't remember if it was under one of their Instagrams or under an article that was like, somebody was like, oh, well, I don't understand why she can't make him be a good father, and I don't understand why she just won't let it go and leave him alone.
That's her kid.
Because she has a responsibility to her
guard his-
child to make sure that she is doing everything that she has to do to make sure that the father is in that child's life. Now, if she wasn't doing that, it would be, oh, you don't love your son, and you don't this, that, and the third, and how you gonna keep that man from his baby, and this, that, and the third. But what she's saying is, no, I would like you to have limited access to me, and I don't want you coming in and through whenever you get good and ready and whenever you feel like it.
Establishing proper boundaries.
Establishing proper boundaries so that you can get your son on these dates, and here's the travel schedule. Your son's life is not interrupted, and instead
That's so important.
but instead of doing that, he wants to fight this thing out in social media.
No, but
and
let's
that's
talk about it. We can
inappropriate.
talk about that too.
Bringing Russell
Yeah.
into
Because
it.
Russell, let's
Russell's
talk
not
about
here
the
for it.
last visitation.
Yeah.
Russell took him, the last documented visitation that, the paparazzi was there to take pictures of. Russell delivered him to his father.
Because Sierra's like, I'm not
Because
doing
why would he subject his wife to that scrutiny knowing what's going to, and to me that's the right thing. And I think that everyone is talking about how he's catching feelings. Jay-Z mentioned it in one of his songs about allowing someone else to raise his son. So dude, step up.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing, you can't just raise him. Raise the other one.
this? All of those babies need a daddy.
all of them need
How
you.
many does he have altogether?
Too many.
6, I think now. I think we're at 6 kids.
And then we're at the new baby.
Yeah, I think the new baby is 6.
And I think that he has attention-seeking behaviors. He's trying to make
Absolutely.
himself relevant because he just had the
And sell
issue
this album.
with the girlfriend and the girl who just had the baby, and they were going back and forth on social media. Now we have this thing with Sierra coming up, so he's trying to sell records. I get it, but at what detriment? At what cost?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because his son is seeing him act a complete fool throughout this whole situation. Eventually, his son will be able to read
His
all of
children.
this.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
all of
all
them.
of
His
his-
children,
all
because
of
I
his
would feel
children,
some
but-
type of way if my daddy only talked about one kid all the time.
That's
I
real.
was also thinking that, him talking about his mother. Like, you won't come after my mom.
Yeah.
And I'm reading this and and then you ain't even in my life, and then you still coming after my mom.
Well, he
That's a
got
whole
mad at Wendy
situation.
Williams. That's another thing. He's trying to make himself relevant. He got mad at Wendy
He
Williams
did.
because Wendy Williams
Posted all 5 of those babies'
posted
mamas.
all of the mothers
On a
and
picture
all the
behind
pictures
Sierra.
and the children. Well, their age of the children rather. And he said he felt like, some of them didn't ask to be in the limelight,
Child.
but you did
Well, why
running
is
your
their pictures
mouth.
out
Yeah.
there? Their pictures out there for a reason.
Well, their pictures are out there because
He
that
keep
is
impregnating them.
Yeah.
Who does that? Like, who walking around here? No judgment. No judgment. But I'm just saying, morally, if you're going to come at somebody and talk about their morals and what's going on in their household,
Yeah, you need to make sure
we
are
need
right.
to look at you.
Mhm.
We need to clean around your back doorstep, as my granny would say.
Yeah.
Because what's going on? You don't have, honey, you don't even need to be talking about Sierra, all them kids you got.
You are all the kids. Why not a vasectomy, Future? Why not? Why not?
And just so Future knows, even if Russell is being quiet and timid, it's a lot of strength in that.
It really
You know
is.
what I'm saying? His wife ain't out there doing whatever, doing craziness. So he don't know what's happening in that household.
He did respond though, and I appreciate
Yeah.
the good, solid. I'm still a man of integrity. Russell Wilson clapback. He posted a photo of the children, and they were nuzzling noses and like kissing, and he said all that matters.
See,
That's all
Petty
that
Crocker
matters.
over here, I would have posted a picture with both of the kids. And I still got your son. I still have your son.
We are going. Oh, we got some social media comments. Yes. Do we have comments? Do we have some social media comments? Okay. All right. The producers say we don't. But yeah, it would have been me in the Instagram on just nuzzling the babies. Like, look at how much these kids love me. Because I'm
there's
being
no
around here
need.
being a real
Like,
daddy.
The rationale in what he's doing, it goes back to what we were just talking about the abuse. The abuse and people feeling like it is okay for them to verbally disrespect you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's
And-
being a bully.
And at the end of the day, he has so much going on that really there's no need. Like he's talking about what she should do, no, what you shouldn't do. He like a scorned woman. I'm just trying to.
He is so bitter.
He is
whole-
all in his feelings,
his
and this girl ain't thinking about him.
Spirit is so bitter, and I need him to.
Let me tell you something.
Well-
That move on will get them in your feelings. They get in their move on.
Yeah.
They do, yeah.
Move
And you got
on.
to really move on because that's what she did.
She
was
moved
like,
on
yeah.
and got in the castle
Yeah.
and had a fairy tale, and now he's just picking. And she's not the woman she was when she was with him.
No,
Not at all.
not at all.
Oh, well, shout out to Sierra, girl. You keep doing what you're doing. Keep leveling up. Keep
Yes.
being amazing. Don't pay Future any attention. Let your lawyers deal with that. You and Russell stay on
Girl.
Instagram with your cute selves, and you let that man keep loving you. We are going to go to a quick commercial break, but we will be right back with more of The Curve. Hey y'all, we are back with more of the Curve. We are gonna roll right into our third topic, y'all. Auntie Gladys
Come
is
on.
back in the news. Gladys Knight has been placed on the roster to sing the national anthem for the big game. As you know, black people are still boycotting and protesting the Super Bowl, and lots of people have come out and said, "Hey, Auntie, you were right there during the Civil Rights Movement.
Thank you.
How in the world are you signed up to sing the national anthem when we boycotting, girl? Like we boycotting."
She's not. She's not boycotting.
And Auntie Gladys said, "What you won't do is stop my checks. That's what
Right.
you won't do."
Because the sun had already stopped them. Y'all know what happened to all the Gladys.
No,
Oh, you
Gladys
do know
chicken
what
and
happened to
waffles?
Gladys Knight chicken and waffles.
no, I just
The
knew that they stopped.
No, the
Girl.
Sun,
Mm.
girl, they were having to run to Publix and get chicken
What, the
because
Publix?
the Sun was messing up with the payroll,
He
wasn't
was-
paying
Okay, I
people,
knew that she
taking
had
it out
let.
for the.
I knew she
Yes.
let him have some
Yes.
control, and I knew that, like, I used to go to Gladys because it stayed open till like
Yes.
3 o'clock in the morning. Y'all know I'm a night owl,
Yes.
so I knew that it was just no more, and that the midnight train to Georgia was my
No,
joint, and now it
honey.
is no.
The
I didn't
Sun
know.
messed it up, so
All
Auntie
the
Gladys
Knight.
has to get the check.
Oh,
Because the Sun messed
don't
her
do
money
it.
up.
He-
And she
And her
here's the thing.
reputation.
She didn't even know all of this was going on.
Her
She
name
didn't
was
know
just
it
on the
until
building.
Channel 2 went and found her. Richard Belcher. You
Come
know
on,
when he
Richard
come.
Belcher. I
Richard
love him.
Belcher went and found her and
With
let
his
her know what
investigative
the
reporting.
accusations were against her son
And
and how
Auntie
people
didn't
weren't
know.
being
Didn't
paid.
he go to jail or something?
Yes,
He went
and
to
they were
jail.
taking money out of the drawer to run the restaurant because the son was taking the money.
Run into the Publix for the chicken.
Yes, they were going
Girl, I
around the
can't
corner to
do
the
it.
grocery. So,
can't
okay,
do
so
it.
here's the thing. Like,
I can't do
I
it.
get how I understand what the people are saying.
Uh-huh.
You know, because they're like, okay, we have this whole situation where we've all agreed that we're going to take a stand. However, her money
Did
not coming
everybody
through.
agree?
Yeah.
No, everybody. Because let me tell you somebody else. Because they've been dragging my boy, and I love him too. Now, Jermaine Dupri, I love you. I love you, and they've been out here dragging him because I've seen him. However, what I can say is he broadcasted live a meeting that they have here in Atlanta. They have this Mothers Against Police Brutality.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So with the group, he sat down and he met with the mothers. And
Okay.
the mothers were like, well, you know, our thing is that, you know, we're going to, one of the mothers, you can go back on his feed and watch it. She was like, you know, oh, the white man is paying you off and you taking blood money. And he said, he let them talk. And he said, I don't even know what you're talking about. Time out. I'm doing this. And you don't know where the money is going. I'm not taking any money going into my pocket. That money will be donated. But I invited you all to speak, to have a platform to tell your story
Yeah.
and who you are with these free concerts. He said, I have people that are going to get up and talk about what's going on with the relationship between the police and the African American community, or at least the black and brown community.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not taking anything. I mean, they were in there crying. You know,
Yeah.
all the stuff that the guy who was shot in Gwinnett, and then they had one in DeKalb. All of that was brought up in this meeting, and he sat there and listened to all of it.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, this whole energy that's directed towards me, like I'm giving you the platform.
And you don't have
To
this
get
is
up.
the wrong the wrong way.
You mad
to
at the
direct
wrong
that. Yeah,
person.
Yeah.
So let's talk about strategically how we're going to get you out there so people can follow you and your story and what you're doing for the communities here in Atlanta. But you telling me you don't want it.
Yeah. Which is a problem.
So
That's
he's like, so
problematic.
what can I do? So with Gladys, we have Auntie over here.
Auntie
Like
Gladys.
I get your check.
A Super Bowl check ain't a little check though.
And it'll make up for all them restaurants that close.
It will really make up for all those restaurants.
And it's not like Chrisette Michelle where she getting ready to come out with another album,
That's
well,
really
CD
it.
or
That's
whatever
really
you want to
it.
call.
I was
Auntie.
about to say. Now, my thing is that like when I guess at some point it was said that the Super Bowl is the thing that everybody should boycott and shut down. It's like, why is the Super Bowl getting attacked when I know his protest, it was about police brutality and the injustice now, and I know because he did it during the national anthem, that Trump made it about the national anthem.
Right.
But when did it become about the football game itself? Why isn't it
It's a
about
$1 billion industry.
Right.
But
Because
I'm saying it's like everything is a $1 billion industry, especially like when we were talking about the people putting the coons on the bags and all that other stuff and things like that, boycott and stuff like that. But it's like this is an entire game that doesn't necessarily have to do with it. That was just his platform he used for his.
to speak out against
But
police
the black
brutality,
dollar,
against
you got to
it,
think
but-
about the black dollar that's being spent
at the
and the
game.
black dollars that's running and playing in the game.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue. If we as a people stuck together and said, you have to think about how many people they asked to do these, to sing the national anthem and to perform that decline. Because of everything that's going on in this world today, the Super Bowl, the money that's made just from the commercials, the money that's made from people watching, all of that, and the majority of the people that are watching are us.
And the concern was, the reason it's about this game, the concern is if you're going to pay us to play this game, and you're going to advertise to us, and you're going to spend millions and millions of dollars on advertising, but when we leave this stadium and get out on the street, you cannot treat us with respect.
Absolutely.
And that is the reason that the game itself has garnered this level of
Attention.
And
But
I
it's like
don't.
when we get out on the street, it's the police
It is.
It is.
that
It is.
are mistreating.
Fair.
So the police has nothing to do with this game.
But not just that, overarching.
Yeah.
Because think about the owners who have said, if you take a knee, then you won't have a job. If you take a knee, and I know some people, for instance, there's a guy from Flint that's, he's a coach for the Rams. And I have some other friends that coach within the NFL. And one of them on his Facebook page, he coaches for another team. He was saying, this is my livelihood. I'm saying from a person that came from Muskegon, Michigan. I grew up poor. I've never seen money like this. Ever. So now you're asking me.
It's the golden handcuff.
Right. It's the golden handcuff. You're asking me to go against what my supervisor is saying and risk losing my job, my livelihood, everything I work hard for. I get that I should not be profiled. I get that what's going on should not happen. However, I'm caught in between a rock and a hard space because now I have to choose my family or these social injustices that are going on within the world. And I'm always going to pick my family. It doesn't mean that I agree with what's going on. But to me, as fans of the NFL or people that, want to attend the Super Bowl, the thing about it is it's our dollar that's making all of this stuff happen. If we stop buying the tickets, if we stop going to the game,
If we stop watching the game.
if we stop watching it, it would make enough of an impact for them to know the powers that be that this can't be tolerated.
It's the same thing. It is the same concept as the bus boycotts. You have to think about the way the bus boycotts were set up. It wasn't about the bus, because people, the bus didn't do anything. Like the bus boycotts in the 60s.
Well, it was the policy of the bus, meaning black people had to go to the back.
Well, it was but it was the racism that was inflicted,
That was
which
driving it.
which was the driving factor. The bus wasn't the problem. The problem was the people who were running the buses, and it's the same thing with
But I'm
football. It's the
saying,
people who are running football, and
We're focused on the football game.
yes,
But there are the people like the Starbuckses and the purse people
You're not
with the
wrong.
little monkey
with the monkeys.
things on there, and then
But when you stop going to Starbucks, you see Starbucks rectify that real quick
That's
because
true.
that dollar was impacted.
Yeah.
That dollar was
but
impacted.
Still, did Starbucks go to the police and say, "Listen, you can't be treating my people like this"?
But
Even if we call, because
It wasn't the police in those instances, though.
But it's still, well, I'm still mad at Philadelphia police because when they got there, they should have questioned that man. They should have just told him to get up out of the
Agreed.
situation.
You're
But
not wrong.
I'm just saying that the issue is the police and how they're trained and how we're mistreated by them and the injustice that goes on in that whole situation, whether it's prison, jail, or on the street. And it's like if we're going to boycott the game and all that is involved in it and jeopardize these people, because our, like you said, our dollars are supported. But it's also those players who are still playing for those coaches who mistreat them like that. I know if I was at a job that mistreated me, I wouldn't stay.
But here's the thing.
And I mean, I understand
You
that
might
that's
with the
millions
level of money.
No, but okay, so let's
it's
talk about
nothing-
the
I have never
APS situation.
stayed, and I've always made good money. And I have never stayed. If I felt some kind of way, I would not stay at that job.
But here's the thing. The flip side of that is we could look at the APS cheating scandal. There's a lady that just wrote a book. She was 25 years old. She had 3 children, and she just did what she was told to do. She was a new teacher, and she didn't know what to do, but this is where her bread and butter came from. And when you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're going to do what, in that situation, you're going to do what's asked of you to do. And with this situation, you have people that have never, ever seen money like this ever in their life before. In their life, like, they don't just carry, if you look at the research behind black athletes in the superhero complex, they carry a whole community.
Absolutely.
You have towns that depend on them. So it's like, okay, it's not just my family, but my community. Am I going to walk away from this? I mean, it's a tough position to be in. But when we talk about the police in the black community or the black and brown community, I mean, you can equate it to what in the Willie Lynch documents, what they talk about, you know, there weren't Europeans picking up the slaves. They were other Africans. So if we still have that going on 200 years later, and you've given someone a little sense of power, you know, you have to think there's a book called, I want to say The Power Dynamics or The Power Economics. It's like in the black community, and it talks about what our dollar and the value of our dollar and what it really means. And if we stuck together and if we stuck together with our dollar, it would address a whole lot of these social injustices.
It would, but
It would.
I mean, I'm still, because it's like, if we don't ask these football players to stop playing for these coaches, then why would we ask Auntie Gladys not to go sing and get her paycheck?
But we'll look at the boy in college. There was something on ESPN. I want to say he played for Nebraska. Anyways, I was watching SportsCenter, and basically he had been suspended because he and the coach, well, he had to sit out. He and the coach had words at practice or whatever, so he suspended him. So a call was made, and he was talking to one of the other players, and then all of a sudden he got upset. The coach walked over to him and was trying to take his jacket off of him. It was on national TV. So, and he was supposed to be a top seed draft pick, like number 1, number 2. So what message does that send? It sends that he's disrespectful. We don't know what was said, but if a coach tries to pull a jersey off of you and you're a number 1 draft pick, who's going to pick you?
Yeah, the optics don't look good. The optics don't look good.
So
at all.
that's what I'm saying. It Gladys Knight, her taking a stance, and I get that everybody needs their check. Everybody wants their coin. I get that. Especially how our son did it. That's a whole nother conversation, 'cause that was dirty.
You
But at
ain't
the
right,
end of the
son.
day, like, I get it, but we're going to have to stand for something.
At some point.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, just like Jay-Z talked about walking away from performing at the Super Bowl, he is a party that didn't particularly need a Super Bowl check. I feel like Gladys might be on that same level where she
didn't need the check.
could have turned it away. I feel
Well,
like
I'm
she
going
could
to
have
say
turned it
this
down.
is what I would have done.
We don't know what
I would have
I
said,
don't know
she
what's
could have
in-
put it out there. I would have said, hey, if somebody wants to pay me what the Super Bowl is going to pay me, I step out. Put it out there. Because Questlove, you remember Questlove told Chrisette Michelle, I'll give you what they're going to pay you, not to sing at that inauguration.
And
But
she
she
did it anyway.
And guess where she is now? Somebody somewhere sitting sad.
Suffering.
y'all go quit fooling with your boy.
Couldn't have
Come
been me.
over.
Couldn't have been me.
No.
Couldn't have been me. Well, going from somebody who we think should not be doing something to someone we're really, really glad are doing some things, we want to do our shout out to you, to the 19 black women who were elected as judges in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
You
Oh,
you felt the way
yeah.
about the story.
I felt so proud about this story just because, first of all, it's in Texas.
Come on,
And it
Texas.
is 19 black
Come on
women
now.
judges. And I just wanted to make sure that we gave them a spot on the show. And I'm about to read every one of their names because they deserve
Come on
their
now.
Credit,
names.
come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
First, we have Judge Shannon Baldwin, Judge Lucia Bates, Judge Ronisha Bowman, Judge Sharon M. Burney, Judge Deidre Davis, Judge Linda Marie Dunson, Judge Toria J. Finch, Judge Ramona Franklin, Judge Lori Chambers Gray, Judge Angela Graves Harrington, Judge Cassandra Y. Holloman, Judge Erica Hughes, Judge Maria T. Jackson, Judge Tanya Jones, Judge Latasha Lewis Payne, Judge Michelle Moore, Judge Sandra Peak, Judge Jermaine Tanner, and and Judge LaShawn A. Williams.
Yes.
We are so proud of you.
We are so proud. Shout out to you for being amazing. We do want to mention there are 19 black women judges in this particular county. However, 17 of those are newly elected. Two of those judges were holdovers from the last election, and so they continue to keep their bench. But there are 19 girls
That's
out there
phenomenal.
wielding their black girl
Come
magic.
on, black girl magic.
They're wielding their black girl
on,
magic
black-
all over. I expect Houston, Texas to be amazing now that those women are in place. We just wanted to give y'all a quick shout out. We're going to take one more quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of The Curve.
We are back on the curve, and I was reading this little short, brief post that someone put on Facebook, and basically it talks about sisterhood. And a young lady posted that she used to catch the bus every morning at 5 a.m. And when she got to the bus stop, there was always a man standing there, and she had her toddler with her. She said, rain, snow, whatever, there was someone there. So she said this particular day, when she got to the bus stop, nobody was there, but the man was running out of his home, and he was saying, wait a minute. So she really didn't know what he was talking about. And he said, my wife, I've been intentionally coming out here every day because my wife said that you shouldn't be standing out here at this bus stop alone with your toddler. And she went on to discuss how much sisterhood meant to her. So my question that I have for you all is, when did you realize how important sisterhood was to you?
Well,
Wow.
yeah. So I will actually say this. This one I didn't have to think hard about. You actually gave me my sisterhood moment. So for most people who know me, and we'll keep this short because we got to wrap up. But for most people who know me, everyone knows I'm really transparent about my highs and my lows, my wins and my losses, right? Motherhood has always been a struggle for me, and it has always been something that I have a great deal of anxiety about. I always want to make sure that I'm being the best mom. I always want to make sure that my son is well taken care of, and that I, as a mother, am not keeping him from his greatness. And maybe it was 2 years ago, maybe it was last
Oh, when
year.
we had our moment. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
about 2 years ago, maybe now. What is he, 5? So yeah, when he was coming into 4, at preschool, they were telling me that he might be special needs, and was that he was that his behavior was made them think that he needed to go into the special needs program. And I just wasn't seeing that at home. But because this is my first kid, I didn't know the signs to look for. I didn't know which way was up where this conversation was concerned. I was like, I didn't have any information, and I was scared. I was just scared is the best word that I could use, because I didn't want to be that mom that's like, there's nothing wrong with my kid, and my kid is perfectly fine, and then do nothing, and then it turns out he does have some disabilities that I need to work on and deal with. I also did not want to be the mom that was like overreacting and like, oh my God, he's special needs and everything the teacher says is right, and let me go ahead and da da da. So I was just in such a quandary. I called Melissa one day in tears, and most folks know that I am normally one of the happiest people you'll ever meet, and I don't cry a whole lot in public to a lot of people. But I called her, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to feel. I don't know which way is up. And you walked me through that process, from knowing what questions to ask, who to call, how to feel, like just reassuring me that I was being a good mom, and that I was doing the very best for my son, and that, as I say, I didn't suck as a mom. Like, just having that level of sisterhood, there's somebody that I could call and say, girl, no, calm down. It's going to be okay. And so that moment of sisterhood was very special and important to me, and it still like almost makes me cry.
I'm
So
rolling my tears back like, do not cry.
make sure you go to our Under the Feed. Make sure you post your moments of sisterhood and what moments of sisterhood you find special and important. And I think that's going to do it for our show, ladies. Good show.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
We hope that y'all have a wonderful week, and don't forget to live life on the curve. See y'all next week.